Hi all, welcome back, and guess what? I've got issue 7 of Build the Classic Routemaster. So I'm back. I received issues 7, 8, 9 and 10. They're the ones I was missing from last month. There was one of the issues were out of stock. So I'm pleased to say I've now got them so I can carry on with the build. And I also got the first binder. This was a free gift. I'm not subscribing to these, but I have put the first issues in already. And what I'll do is I'll fill this up and then that'll be it. I'm not going to subscribe to the binders for this one because I've got no room. So I'm still yet to have a detailed look through these and read all the information and stuff, but I shall do that at some point. So without further ado, let's crack on with issue 7. Let's go down, I'll open it up, we'll check the parts off and we'll get building. So here we go, this is issue 7. Fresh in the bag. Let me open this up. Okie doke. So, the first thing I can hear is metal part or parts. Okie doke. Right, so it looks like there's a lot of small little parts in here. So, 7A is the brake disc, and they call it a brake disc, but I don't really call it a brake disc because, you know, a brake disc doesn't have this level of detail on, like the brake disc I know. Obviously, you know, for the Routemaster it may have been different, but to me that's like a hub, if you like. Okay, 7B is a lower hinge joint, which is this part here, and my focus is going to go a bit AWOL. There we go, and that is a metal part. Yeah, that's surprising. I didn't expect that to be metal. 7C, upper hinge joint, and that's this part here. 7D is the steering arm, which is this part here, and this is plastic. Okay, 7E is a bracket, which is this part here. F is a brake lever, which is this part here, and it's incredibly detailed, and you've got this this very thin plastic there, so be careful with that because I think, yeah, that is going to be very fragile. Okay, 7G is a brake cylinder, which is this part here. Again, incredibly detailed, and then it's got like a cut out there. We get 7H, which is a return spring, quite a stiff spring. It's not a weak one by any means. Okay, and then we also get 3 lots of screws. So we've got DP, CM and FM. So before I get started, I'm just going to take these screws out and place them strategically in my pot, ready to go. If I can get them out. And then last of all, these DP screws, we'll get them on just in there. Okay, so we adjust you out a bit. That's the screws already in the pot. So let's proceed to step 1. Okay, so we need to take the suspension arm that we 1 minute. There we go, that we built in issues 5 and 6. Okay, I'm working on, I don't think it actually matters. No, it does. It just says check you have it the right way around as shown. However, it's this. It's just got to be this way up. Obviously, it doesn't matter left or right because they are the same. But we're working just over here on this end piece. So we need to take the lower hinge joint 7B, which is this part here, okay, and then that is going to go on top of this part here, like so, and there'll be a screw hole at the bottom and there'll be like a locating pin at the top. Let me just get you some more light, might make things a bit easier. There you go, you've got a locating pin that's going to be upwards with the hole below it, and it's going to be this way round, and we're going to secure that in with an FM screw, but not tight because this needs to swivel. Okay, so I'm just going to get my fantastic Oreo screwdriver and an FM screw, and I'm just going to check the fitting of the screwdrivers. Okay, so I want J1. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to secure that in from the top down that hole. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this little bit of plastic and I'm just going to put a tiny dab of washing up liquid on there to aid the screw. Because it's a FM screw, it will be going into metal, so all I'm going to do is just tap the ends of the screw into the washing up liquid, and that will just help that through, cut the metal. brilliant. And there you have it. As I say, not too tight, because this piece needs to swivel. And that is a tad too tight. So I'm just going to slacken that off, and there we have it. We have a pivot there, and that is in nice and tight, so I'm happy with that. Okie doke. So step 2, we need to set the upper hinge, which is 7C, which is this smaller part, and then working on the other side where we've just fitted this at the bottom, that is going to go on there like so. So it doesn't actually strictly tell you a direction, however one side has a deeper recess, and that is the side I'm going to have facing upwards, because that will obviously house the screw head, and that it seems to be a nice fit. It will go on both ways, but it just feels a bit nicer that way. Okay, so again with an FM screw, I'm just going to get a little bit of washing up liquid on that screw. Wait for a little bite, and then I'm going to tighten that up. Now that's tight, but I've got no movement there, so then I'm just going to slack it off just a tad. So we've got movement there. There we go, and I'm happy with that. So we've got 2 moving parts. And there we have that part that part done. So next, step 3, this is going to go to the side just for the moment. We're going to be working on the brake disc, or the hub as I call it. Now we're going to be working with this post to the rear, so we're going to be working on this front edge here. So we need part 7D, which is the steering arm, which is this plastic part here, and I am struggling with the focus today. There we go. And then that is going to sit in these 2 holes here. Now it doesn't show this in the magazine, this outline, but it sort of outlines the shape of where this is going to be going. So the locating pin is going to go in the left hole, and then it should fit and mine is a little bit tight. There we go. But that's just where the paint was, and it's going to sit just in there like so. And then what we're going to do with the CM screw, we're just going to fasten that into that hole just on the top there. And that is that part complete. I didn't put any washing up liquid on there because one, I forgot, to be honest, and it's just gone everywhere as well. But it didn't need it for that part, and that sits nice and flush, so I'm happy with that. Okay, step 4, we're going to take the bracket, and that is going to fit in these 2 holes on the outer edge here. And the semicircular part of the bracket will be facing downwards, and that's going to go in there. The locating pin, as you look at it this way, will go in the bottom hole, like so. And I'm so sorry, let me just sort out my camera. There you go. So that's going to sit in there just like that. And then again with a CM screw, I'm going to put a little bit of washing up liquid on this one. Just carefully line that hole up, and it's going to go into that larger hole there, not the one on the semicircle, but the one further up. And there we go, that's perfect. Okay, we should have something that looks a little bit like that. Okay, step 5. Take the brake cylinder 7G, which is this small part here. And then we need to fit it onto this the slot in the cylinder as shown. The flat arm of the lever into the slot in the cylinder. Okay, so we've got the brake lever, which is this part here, and as I say, we've got the brake cylinder in this which is that part. Okay, and then what we're going to do, we're going to have it so that that very small pin, angled plastic there, is facing down. And then this is going to be this way up. On the other side you've got a locating pin just there, you might see. That's going to go to the back, and then that is just going to slot into there like so. Okay, that doesn't get fixed just yet, and that's from the other side. It just slots in between. So once all that's slotted together, I'm just trying to see this manual. Right, okay. You've got various locating pins. You've got one there, one just there, and then you've got this small pin. The locating pin on this part here will go in the bottom right as you look at it that way. The other locating pin is going to fit in the smaller hole just there, and then this very fragile piece of plastic here will go into this bracket here, and that should all go in one go. There we go, and we should have something that looks a little bit like that. Okay, and once that's in, we're going to secure that in with CM screws, and they are going to go into the bottom hole here, and through this hole here, this part. Okay, so CM, I'm going to get some more washing up liquid. So as I say, this bottom hole there, that's one, and then the second one just into that centre hole there. Lovely, and then we should have something that looks like that. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is step 7. We're going to be attaching the spring between these two parts here. Okay, so that is going to fit comfortably one way, because where the ends of the springs are, see, they're both on one side, so you want them not this way round, so the spring is upwards. You want to turn that round so the spring fits down, see, into that recess there, if that makes sense, and that's actually keeping itself in there because of that tension. But I'm going to be careful because I don't want that pinging off. And then for this we're going to be using 2 different types of screw. So we want the CM screw first, and again this is going into metal. Okay, and that is going to go, as you look at it with the spring at the top, it's going to go on this left hand hole here. I'm actually just going to remove that spring just for a minute so I can get that lined up. And there we go, that's gone through. Now I would suggest not tightening that up just yet until we've got this the other side of the spring in place. Okay. And let me just, and then this other side we're going to be using a DP screw, and obviously that'll be going into plastic, and that is correct because this part is plastic. Okay, and then just line that up. I'm just going to tighten it, not too much, but just enough. And then we have that part. There's a little bit of a bow in there, but that is the position it wants to sit in, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so once that's done, I'm going to move on to step 8. And then we're going to fit that onto the suspension where we've just been working here. And that will only go on one way, because I didn't notice that bottom one actually. You've got the locating pin, which I told you about at the top, and on this bottom piece there's a keyway. So that will only go in one way, and if you look in here, you've got a hole here for that locating pin at the top, and then there is like a key cut out of that bottom hole there. Okay, so that will only go in one way, so we're going to pop that in. Like so. And then using FM screws, again we're going into metal, so I'm going to use a little bit of washing up liquid. With FM screws we're going to secure that in from the front here, in that hole there, and the one just above. So that's one in. I'm just going to start the next one. Just so I know that is in. Yeah, perfect. There we go, and I'm happy with that. And then we have that attached, and just check there is movement, because that is obviously the steering pivot for the wheel. So that is it for issue 7. I really enjoyed doing that. The parts are just quality, that's all I can say. Brilliant. Everything fits nicely, the screws go in nicely. I mean, that could be aided with the washing up liquid, but certainly with the correct screwdriver, absolutely beautiful. It's so satisfying. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Glad I could carry on, and the next issue we're going to be doing a wheel and tyre. So yeah, until next week. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you to those already subscribing, and if you wish to buy me a coffee, there is a link in the description below. Thank you very much, and see you next week. Bye.